Assalamu alaikum, this is video 3. Okay, so as we said, now, so Diana represented the Holy Mother, Diana, the Black Madonna, right? Okay, so now, so the power, that was like sealing the power, okay? Anwar Sadat was basically sacrificed to give the power, transfer power from Egypt, okay, the seed of the woman, to what? To the fake black nobility, right? Okay, for the through the peace accords, right? And then to commemorate that, like the Bible, right? The marriage was supposed to, the marriage contract or the marriage agreement, right? And we said the marriage agreement was supposed to be between Muslims and Christians, right? The East and the West. Muslims in the East, the marriage between the seed of Jacob, which was through what? Isaac, right? And the seed of Ishmael, the Muslims and the Christians, right, in the West, right? Because the sun's to rise in the West. That means the power's to rise in the West, right? Okay. Now, so we have Charles and Diana getting married, the beautiful Diana, innocent Diana, getting married, and that's like, you know, after the Anwar Sadat was sacrificed. Okay, the power went, and because he made the peace agreement, he gave it to. It's like he giving power to the Zionists, and Charles was a Zionist, right? Diana was not, but Charles was a Zionist, right? So there was a peace agreement in 1981. Okay, still preparing for 2002. And who was born in 1981 or 82? I believe it was. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we had them getting married, and in 1981 was the mark. 1981 was to mark the new beginning of the Zionist fake black nobility with the marriage agreement, a new marriage agreement, right? And with the assassination or sacrifice of Anwar Sadat was at the hand, as we said, the sacrificing of Anwar Sadat was at the hand of the Zionists. Yet the assassination of the Kemetic Egyptian president, it was to pose. It was, you know, as I said, it was stated to have been done by at the hands of what was to be the future Al-Qaeda, right? Okay. Now, so the death of the Kemetic Egyptian president Anwar Sadat resulted in the life or rebirth or the birth of William in 1982, who was believed to have been conceived in Egypt after Charles and the beautiful innocent Diana, okay, honeymooned in Egypt, which is to say theoretically that little William is Egyptian or a Semite, right? Because they're claiming black nobility through the Egyptian pharaonic line, right? That's why they're trying to claim black nobility. But, right, through the black pharaonic line, okay, but who also went through Egypt, right? Was supposed to be was the Hebrews. Well, it was Joseph, right? Yusuf, because that's his name in how you pronounce his name, literally pronounce his name, Yusuf. Okay, the son of Jackob. He went into Egypt. His family went into Egypt. Not 44,000, as they try to say. No, 44,000 came out. Not enough to make 44,000. It was the family of Jackob that went into Egypt, okay, and it was it was after they were enslaved in Egypt, right? Well, after they went into Egypt, they married Egyptian people, as did Prophet Abraham, right? They married Egyptian people. So when the Hebrews left Egypt, okay, the nation of Jacob left Egypt, okay. they were Egyptian when they went out. That is why the Arabs say they went out black, meaning they left Egypt, they left Africa black, and they came back to Africa white, or blue bloods, or Khazars, okay, or yeah, barbarian, okay. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, so that's why so that is why they try to say they are the black nobility, okay? I mean, but they're really black. They're really not black, and they have no ability, right? They only steal, okay, from all over the world. They pillage and plunder, okay, just like the pirates they are descended from, the Viking pirates they're descended from, okay. Anyway, so now, as we said, the death of the Egyptian president Anwar Sadat resulted in the birth of William in 1982. Okay, and he's supposed to be Egyptian because he was conceived in Egypt, right? Okay, so they got the peace, okay, for the Zionists. Who's the head of the Zionists but the Rothschild, and who's the head of their Zionist cabal, right? We got the Vatican, we got the Crown of England, and we got the military wing of it in America, which is now headed by the Trump, right? Who tried to get this war, want to get a war with Iraq, not Iraq, but Iran, right? So that he can steal Jerusalem, right? Okay. From the what? From the Muslims, right? So that they can build their synagogue of Satan. Not synagogue. A synagogue of Satan. It would really be the rebuilding of the Tower of Babel. And what is he so good in architecture and building towers, right? We got towers. All he builds is towers, right? So get into Babylon and build a tower. Even his man-son, or his son, transgenital, right? Ivan Ka said they wanted to build a tower in Jerusalem. So they want to build a Tower of Babel in Jerusalem, right? Under the Trump, right? And where's the Trump from? Where did he get his wealth? From whoredom, right? Because his family's a descendant of pimps, right? From building what do they call them? Brothels, okay? So they want to build a Temple of Babel, okay? Now, a synagogue would be a Temple of Babel, okay? So now, so fast forward to 1979, the appearance of the comet Hale-Bopp, the death of Tupac, which was in 1996, okay, which was September 7th, okay, and that's the reverse or the inverse of 1979, right? And what was Tupac? A king of what? A king of rap, okay? So that was setting the stage for the September 23rd, 2017, right? So September 7 would be 9/7, right? 1980. Well, he actually was sacrificed in 1996, right? But now 1996, 1978, it will be 1998, right? Okay, now, so Tupac was sacrificed in 1996, September 7th, 1996, right? Okay, and now, and what was his mother? His mother was a Black Panther, right? A black cat, right? Okay, the black cat, right? Which represents what? The seed of the woman, right? The seed of the woman. Okay, and his mother, as we said, was sacrificed all at 9:34. Like her son passed, her son was sacrificed 9:30 or 9/7. She was sacrificed May at 9:34, 2016. Okay, And 2016 is also at the end of represents a 7, right? 2016 would be 20. Well, let's put it that way. It will be a 9. 2 and then 1 and 6 is 9, right? So that would also be 9. She was sacrificed at 9:34. That's the time she was supposed to have died. And then in 2016, which is also, as I said, 9 equal 9. So, okay? So, now, again, so that means she was sacrificed 9/7, as like her son was sacrificed at 9/7, okay? Which is symbolic of them being sacrificed together, mother and child, right? The seed and the woman. The black seed and the woman, right? Okay. Now, as we said, again, 9/7 at 9:34 p.m. at night, right? At night. Okay? Now, on a Monday, right? A moon day, representing the woman. Monday represents the woman. It represents moon, the moon day. As Sunday represents the father, Sunday. Moon day represents the mother, right? And she was sacrificed at night on a moon day at the age of what? 69. And when is Saturn supposed to be at the galactic center? At Rajab 9, which will be April 6, 69. And that's when Saturn, the black planet, representing the mother, is to be at the galactic center. Okay? Now, so, okay, so the date of her son's, 9/7 is the date of her son's sacrifice, and 9/7 is the time she was sacrificed, as well as the 2016 representing 9, right? Okay, and she was sacrificed at the age 69. Okay, now, okay, so that's represented. Okay, the date of her son's sacrifice, all in preparation of stealing the legacy of the or the inheritance of the Hebrew Israelite nation of Jackob from the Ethiopian kingdom of Judah, because Tupac was a great social activist, consciously awake, and with the history of his mother, a Black Panther, right? Okay, so they know very well what they were doing. Okay, they was all in preparation for 2017. Okay, okay. Now Tupac and his mother, okay, were like another mother and child sacrifice. Okay, Tupac and his mother were not the only mother and child sacrifice. It was another child sacrifice. Okay, just as the mother and child sacrifice of Whitney and her daughter was a mother and child sacrifice. All for preparation for what? In order to get life, they got to give life, right? They're not going to sacrifice their own life, so they're going to sacrifice whose life? To get it, they got to sacrifice the life of the Hebrews, right? The true Hebrew Israelites. So now, and also Whitney and her daughter were sacrificed the same as another mother and child sacrifice, Diana, Princess. Now, Princess Diana. Where are we going to go there? Okay, we'll wait there. Okay, yeah, another sacrifice, Princess Diana. Okay, and Dodi Fayed, right? And Diana was sacrificed in when? 1997. The inverse of 1990. Wait, the inverse of 1979. Okay, along with Hail Bob. Hail to the Father, right? The return of what? So it was a sacrifice to whom? The Antichrist, right? Because 1979 or 1978 represented, not 1978, 1997, and Hale-Bopp represented the nearing the end of the universal pregnancy of Neptune, right, as it relates to Pluto being in Neptune. Okay. Now, because Neptune is seen as the woman, it's the seat of the woman, the holy see. That is the holy see, the celestial holy see is Neptune. Okay, and who represent that? Who represents Neptune? The Poseidon, right? Poseidon, the so-called Greek god Poseidon, which is really a woman. Okay, which is really Aphrodite, which is really Athena, which is really all of those female seen as Aphrodite, seen as the black goddess, female goddess, right? Which I don't believe in goddess and goddesses, right? I believe in, divine mother, the divine feminine, right? Which is represented by the beautiful black woman, which I, alhamdulillah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, the queen of queens, which I represent in this time. Okay, so that celestial 1212 that is appearing September 23rd, that represents me. I represent that. Alhamdulillah. I don't need your validation. I don't need it. I have the celestial validation. All the credibility in the world, even this new moon, okay, which is taking place on the 28th, which is tomorrow, which is, alhamdulillah, my delivery date onto this planet. Okay, 28th. I'm not telling the year, because if the celestial, if Mother Nature don't tell my age, why in the hell should I? But nonetheless, even this new moon is on my delivery date. So I know it's, as well as other celestial timing and the natal chart and all of these things. So I don't need man to confirm that. Okay, alhamdulillah, Allah has given me the hikmah, and hikmah is wisdom, to discern it and comprehend it for myself, just as I'm able, alhamdulillah, to comprehend that Michael Yusuf Jackson, Mikael, the one, because that's what his name means in Arabic, Mikael Yusuf, Jacob's son, okay, represents the seed of the woman. He represents the Holy Father, as it represents to the new generation of this 24 years celestial, 24, this new celestial 24-year thousand, this new celestial 24,000 New Year cycle. Michael Yusuf Jackson represents that, and that's why they had to get rid of him quick. Okay, and we'll deal with that too. Okay, so I don't need no one to tell me who I am. I know who I am. Just like Michael said, he knows he's black. All he's got to do is look in the mirror and it tells him that. I know who I am. All I got to do is read the celestial chart, the mind of Allah as it relates to the writing in the stars. I know who I am. Alhamdulillah. Okay? And the earth knows who I am too. That's why we're having all these volcanic eruptions right about now, because volcanoes represent the woman. They represent the woman. And when did these volcanoes start erupting? Close to my birthday, my delivery date onto this planet, which is, alhamdulillah, March 28th. Okay? So, anyway, I don't need you to tell me who I am. Alhamdulillah, I know. Okay? And alhamdulillah, Allah knows, and Allah showed me as well. Okay? So, anyway, as we said, now, so, okay, so the sacrificing of another mother and child, okay, was the sacrificing of Diana, beautiful Princess Diana, okay, and her fiance Dodi Fayed, and Diana was supposed to be pregnant at that time, okay, so they sacrificed her to the, as well as Tupac and his mother, and Whitney Houston and her daughter, mother and child, for the Antichrist, Dajjal, Baron Antichrist Dajjal, because he's supposed to Iraq. He was that Hale-Bopp, the Hale-Pop comet. Okay, that's supposed to reflect the return of the Antichrist. Okay, as well as the return of the Christ child. And what did they say? That the Antichrist would be pursuing the seed of the woman, right? And so, therefore, the seed of the woman was Tupac. The seed of the woman was Whitney's daughter. The seed of the woman would be the seed that fetus that Diana was stated to have been carrying when she was pregnant. So that would be the killing of the seed of the woman. Okay? Those sacrifices, as well as we'll go back and see others. Okay? Now, and that was in 1997 as well as 1997 and 1996 on that timeline. Okay? Now, as we said, Diana was stated to have been pregnant, which meant that Diana's child would have been Muslim and would have been born in 1998. So if Diana was pregnant in 1997, her child would have been born in 1998, which would have fit perfectly on the timeline of 1999 when the child was supposed to be born. Okay? The Muslim child was supposed to be born. The Muslim child was supposed to be born as reflective of the universe getting pregnant and the new year starting in 1980, which ultimately led to the marriage of Diana and Charles in 1981, which led to the birth of the arranged birth of William in 1982. But Diana, okay, and all of that was pre-planned, okay, but Diana naturally got pregnant with Dodi Fayad's child, baby, in 1997. Okay, and the baby would have been born in 1998, fitting perfectly on the timeline, and it would have been for a Muslim as well. Right? Because the Muslim represented the 1998, 1979, and the universe getting pregnant, and the changing, the rebirth of Islam represented the rebirth of a child, right? Okay. So Diana would have had a Muslim child, to which they could not stand that, and that scared them to death, thinking that Diana's child would have been the prophet born of a virgin. Okay? Now, and possibly the fulfillment of celestial prophecy of 1999, which was stated by the appearance of Hel-Bop in 1997, which marked the beginning of the end of celestial pregnancy, as 1997 or 1979 is the represented the beginning of the pregnancy, of the universal pregnancy. 1979 and 1997 represented the closing of or the pending birth of the child that was to be born in or perceived to be born in 1999, to which Prince sang a song about it, right? And that's why Mr. Purple Rain had to go, right? Okay. Mr. Purple Rain couldn't reign no more because he sang about that. He was Prince, right? And that's why in 1916, not 1916, but 2016, he also had to go. And then they did mark that by her, the bitch Elizabeth of England, commemorating a purple bandstand to commemorate her so-called 999, her 90th birthday, right? Okay. So it's all represented by nines, right? Because September represents 9, but September is 9/7, because on the celestial sphere, September is really the 7th month, because the first month is March. Okay, that's the first month. The 7th month on the astrological calendar, September is the 7th month. So we have 7/9/9/7. Okay. Okay, and that's why Tupac's mother had to go at 9/7. Tupac had to go at 9/7. Okay. Now, so we say now we get into the death of Biggie. Okay. Death of Biggie, okay. Biggie Smalls, okay, in 1979 is also connected to Tupac, because Biggie Smalls was seen as the king of the rap on the East Coast, and Tupac was seen as the king of rap in the West Coast, right? So these are two black kings, right, that were sacrificed, okay, in 1997, as marked by Hel-Bop, right? Because what did they do? They brought out a genre that was consciously awakening the message. They were messengers, right? As seen by the Khazar Synagogue of Satan, right? They were messengers. Tupac, not only, as I said, he was sacrificed not only because The death allowed a great cover. Killing Tupac allowed a great cover for the death of Biggie Smalls, but okay, so it allowed a great cover for the human sacrifice. It also represented as I said, the sacrifice of rap, okay, which was like, because in the beginning rap was conscious, okay, conscious enlightenment, conscious awakening, conscious gnosis, okay, conscious illumination, okay. So they had to remove that illumination from the earth, okay, from the nation of Jackob, right? As we said, because Tupac and Biggie Smalls were both kings of rap, East and West. It also allowed the Gentile, Christian, barbarian, Rothschild, Khazar, Vatican, Zionist, Jewish, Israeli synagogue of Satan to cover its nasty, barbarian entrails in the spiritually incorrect, evil commercial paradigm. Okay, cabal. Okay, rap was a politically active. Rap was politically active consciousness. It was a conscious vehicle on the rise, which bore prophetic messages. Okay, and prophetic messages like take care of yourselves, what the system is doing. Excuse me, what the the synagogue of Satan is doing to humanity. To raise themselves out of oppression, to rise up out of oppression, right? So that's what it represented. How to overcome, okay? How to be consciously active. It was raising the like the civil rights movement, right? Like the 60s, the conscious awakening, right? So they didn't want that, so they had to get rid of that. And it fit right on the timeline of 1999, right? Now, so thus in 1997, the consciousness of the king of rap, the kings of rap, had to be deposed and decapitated by the Zionist system in 1997 before it could deliver its conscious fruit to those of the nation of Jackob, still consciously enslaved in the commercial world of Babel, not knowing who they were, okay? Not unaware of their legacy, their divine legacy, and what they could do with that, what they were to do with that legacy, okay? So we're gonna go to video. Let me see, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna go to video